Did you know there is a moment? A single moment. When being alone stops meaning safety, it's the moment you realize the silence around you is not empty. It's listening. Westfield was not the kind of town where things happened. It was quiet in a way that felt intentional, as if the town itself preferred not to be noticed. Streets curved gently instead of sharply. Houses sat at polite distances from one another. Porch lights glowed warm every evening at exactly the same hour. Like an unspoken agreement, people trusted Westfield. That was the mistake. Ethan Cole moved there with his wife Claire because the realtor said it was safe. No crime to speak of, she'd smiled. People here look out for each other. Ethan believed her. He shouldn't have. The house was new. Too new. Everything smelled like fresh paint and unused wood. The walls were white, unmarked. The windows were large, almost excessive, stretching from knee-height to the ceiling. Claire loved the light during the day. At night, she stopped looking at them. "You don't like the windows anymore?" Ethan asked one evening. Claire paused too long. "They feel close," she said. Ethan laughed then. He thought she meant drafts or privacy. He didn't notice how she started closing the curtains before sunset. He didn't notice how she stopped sleeping facing the windows. He didn't notice how she flinched every time the lights went out. Not until the letter appeared. It was a Tuesday. Nothing special, nothing memorable. Ethan came home late, arms full of groceries, thinking about emails and deadlines and things that didn't matter anymore. The letter sat on the kitchen counter. No envelope, no address, no handwriting he recognized. Just one sentence, written neatly in black ink. "I see you when you turn the lights off." Ethan stared at it. A chill ran through his chest. "Claire?" he called. No answer. The groceries slipped from his hands. Milk spilled across the floor, spreading silently. The house felt wrong. Not dark, not quiet. Aware. He picked up the letter. The paper was warm. Claire wasn't upstairs. She wasn't in the bathroom. She wasn't in the backyard. Her phone sat charging on the nightstand, unlocked. The last unsent text glowed on the screen. "Ethan, I think someone is watching the house." His heart started pounding so hard he could hear it. Outside, the streetlight flickered. Once, twice. Then it stayed off. Ethan didn't sleep. He sat in the living room, all the lights on, staring at the biggest window. The glass reflected the room perfectly. At 11:47 p.m., something changed. Ethan raised his hand. In the reflection, his hand moved a second later. His breath caught. That wasn't possible. He stood. The reflection stood after him. Inside the glass, not behind it, not outside. Inside, there was a shape. Tall, still, standing where the hallway should be. Watching. The phone rang. "Unknown number," Ethan answered. A whisper slid through the speaker. "You look too long." The line went dead. In the reflection, the shape leaned closer. Ethan screamed and tore his eyes away. When he looked back, the reflection was normal. The shape was gone, but the house no longer felt empty. The police told Ethan what police always say. No forced entry. No evidence. Adults don't just disappear. But Deputy Mark Holloway stayed behind. Mark had grown up in Westfield. He didn't smile. "There's something you should know," Mark said quietly, sitting at Ethan's kitchen table. "What?" "There's a rule here." Ethan frowned. "A rule?" Mark hesitated. "When something starts watching you," he said, "you don't acknowledge it." Ethan swallowed. "What happens if you do?" Mark looked toward the hallway. "It gets closer." That afternoon, a sound rolled through Westfield. A bell. Low metallic, too deep to be normal. Every light flickered. Mark's radio exploded into static. "That's new," Mark whispered. From somewhere beneath the town, something had woken up, and it knew Ethan's name. Mark explained what Westfield never wrote down. There were rules. Unspoken, unwritten. You don't look directly at reflections at night. You don't stand in doorways after dark. You don't answer voices you didn't invite. And above all, you never stay in the silence between sounds. "That's where it lives," Mark said. "What is it?" Ethan asked. Mark didn't answer. That night, Ethan turned off the lights. The house went dark. Immediately, the whisper returned, right behind his ear. "You remembered me." Ethan ran upstairs. The hallway mirror reflected the darkness. Then it blinked. Claire stood inside it. Not behind him. Inside the glass. Her mouth moved. "No," she mouthed. "Don't listen." The bell rang again. The thing revealed itself slowly. It didn't have a single shape. Sometimes it was tall and thin. Sometimes it looked like a man standing just out of sight. Sometimes it wore Claire's face. It lived in pauses, between footsteps, between breaths, between the bells ringing. It fed on attention, on fear, on being acknowledged. Westfield had learned to ignore it. Ethan hadn't.
I did it.
Mark confessed the truth.
It was me.
He'd lost his brother years ago. Same house, same letter, same mistake. "You can't fight it," Mark said. "You can only starve it." "How?" "By leaving."
Starve it.
The bell rang again, louder this time. The house trembled. Something was coming through the walls. The final rule was the cruelest. If you hear it call your name, you must not respond. Even if it sounds like someone you love. Even if it is someone you love. Ethan heard Claire's voice crying from the hallway. "Ethan, please." The lights flickered. The mirror cracked. The silence stretched. Ethan stood between the sound and the dark. If he answered, it would take him. If he didn't, Claire would remain trapped. Mark whispered, "Don't." The bell rang one last time. Ethan spoke. "I see you too." The house went silent. Westfield returned to normal. Claire never came back. Neither did Ethan. A new family moved into the house months later. Fresh paint, wide windows, warm lights. On their first night, a letter waited on the counter. "I see you when you turn the lights off." And somewhere, in the silence between watching, something smiled.